few years ago, I went to a friend's place for dinner. I was meeting him after a long time and I was really excited. But actually, a big part of my excitement was the food that I was going to eat cooked by his mother. We were close friends growing up and we shared numerous meals together. His mom is an excellent cook. So I show up for dinner and I was welcomed to an amazing spread of Indian food. As with any Indian family, we want our guests to have the best experience and eat the most delicious food. So adding extra butter and ghee to enhance the taste of the food is a very common practice. I was given a warm welcome and the food spreads on the table exceeded my expectations. I prepared my plate with good amounts of the foods that I liked so much. After finishing my first plate, I stood up to get second helpings. As I was standing, a voice rang inside my head. It said, "Stop! You are stepping into the territory of overeating." But did I stop? No! I wanted to have bigger portions of that amazing food that I had just eaten, and most importantly, the desserts were untouched. And who does not salivate even after a full meal at just the mere thought of Indian desserts? At that point of time, I used to be overweight and was trying to watch my calorie intake. However, I did not have a clear idea of how many calories were there in the foods that I ate. Neither did I have a way of computing in my head how much I was overeating. So I decided to ignore the voice in my head and went ahead and got seconds and also a plate full of desserts. The rest of the night went by wonderfully with catching up and discussing various stories from our childhood. However, on my way back, I felt really guilty because I knew I overate a lot. That sensation of guilt didn't leave me even the next morning. Sounds familiar, right? We have all been there. I was trying to lose weight and I needed something concrete to help me with that. I realized that any attempt at calorie restriction started with understanding calories. In this video, I will discuss the science of calories and I will share with you an amazing tip to help you watch your calorie intake. Have you ever wondered why food which is tangible, that is you can see, smell, taste, touch, feel, is described in terms of calories, which is an intangible unit of energy? This is because when we eat food, energy is produced from it. Food is broken down into its components, namely carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Carbohydrates are mainly broken down into glucose, which is then converted into a molecule called ATP or adenosine triphosphate, which is also known as the energy currency of the cell. Proteins are broken down into its components called amino acids, which is then converted into glucose for the purposes of energy production and is eventually converted into ATP. Lipids or fats are broken down into fatty acids and ATP is generated from their metabolism. The ATP acts like fuel to our body. The energy is stored in high energy bonds inside the molecule, and because all food is eventually converted into ATP or energy, the food is described in calories. This energy is used by the body to perform all bodily functions like beating of the heart, breathing, digestion and processing of the food, as well as physical activity. So what is a calorie? To answer this, we need to go back to our high school physics. 1 calorie is the amount of heat energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Hence, it is a very small quantity of energy. Because this is so small, the calorie that we refer to while discussing diet or exercise is equivalent to 1000 regular calories or 1 kilocalorie. While the regular calorie is denoted with a lowercase or small c, the kilocalorie is denoted with an uppercase or a capital C. Now, when we say that a medium-sized apple contains 100 calories, it actually means 100 kilocalories. Now, time for some math. If 1 regular calorie can increase the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius, 1000 regular calories or 1 kilocalorie can increase the temperature of 1 liter of water by 1 degree Celsius. So 100 kilocalories can increase the temperature of 1 liter of water by 100 degrees Celsius. That is, it can make it boil. To give you some perspective, again, a medium-sized apple contains 100 kilocalories. Such is the power of a calorie. Our body can convert food into calories effortlessly. To keep things simple, when we say calories in this video, we will actually refer to kilocalories, or the calorie that we denote with a capital or uppercase C. So how do we determine the caloric value of foods? The machine that is used is called a bomb calorimeter. No, it's nowhere close to an actual bomb, but because this machine uses gases at high pressures, hence the name. What it does is that it burns a particular quantity of food completely and measures the amount of heat energy released. The caloric value is calculated from that measurement. This method is not very accurate because the amount of energy that a person derives from eating a particular quantity of a particular food differs from person to person depending upon the ways of preparation of the food and also the genetic makeup of that person, as well as the hormonal environment in the person, most importantly, your insulin levels. Hence, the calorie count found on nutrition labels is just an approximate number. This is not the most accurate, but we have to work with it. Nowadays, apps and devices are able to track your calorie intake and expenditure, but accuracy depends upon how consistently you use them. A much easier way is to know the quantity of foods that you commonly consume that gives you 100 calories. Therefore, whenever you have a certain quantity of food on your table, you will be able to be mindful of the approximate number of calories that you are consuming. For example, an egg has 90 to 100 calories, and so does 7 ounces of orange juice. All of these values are available online and waiting for you at the click of a button. However, things become a little complicated when we think about cooked food because the cooking process is not standardized. Still, if you know which foods have more sugars or more oil, try to avoid them as far as possible. For example, fried chicken has more calories than baked chicken. So whenever given a choice, go for a baked option. This knowledge helps us decide what foods to go for when we are trying to restrict our calorie intake. 100 calories of fruits or vegetables will be much more filling and good for your health compared to a chocolate square which also contains 100 calories. In the next video, we will dive deep into the science of obesity. This channel is all about you taking control of your health and well-being.